Into the room, Ceren. Now!
Ow! You're gonna yank my arm off!
I wouldn't have to if you would move!
Blech.
Listen very carefully. You stay in this room until everything has blown over. Do not open the door for anyone.
But... Is this what I think it is?
You are only to leave the room if I tell you it's safe, or the manor goes completely silent. And if someone breaks down the door, tell them you're being held captive by the Lord. My predilections are well known among the people. No one will suspect you're lying. I must go now. Farewell, Ceren. I rather enjoyed our time together.
Wait! Don't go! I've got an idea, Francois. We could escape through that window there. Tie the sheets up into a rope and climb down. Then we can go somewhere far away where nobody will find us.
I do not have that liberty.
Why not?
Because I am the lord of this land. I was born to be the lord. I murdered my own family to keep my claim to this title. And I will not abandon it until my final breath. I was a fool and a tyrant, neither a great leader nor a great man. But still, I bear the responsibility of my role. Fleeing is not an option.
I never thought you were a tyrant.
The rest of my lordship would disagree with you. I used fear as a weapon of control, murdering slaves for fun and prioritizing my own desires over the needs and lives of my people. Do you have a better word for what I am? Whereas you grasp the difference between good and evil, but lack the requisite emotions to give those concepts meaning. I knowingly chose to stray from the path of righteousness.
Didn't you say you could run things just fine with fear? That it was very effective?
Indeed, you can run things exceedingly well with fear. Though I never said you could do so forever. I first saw signs the people were turning against me 3 years ago. While I did what I could to crush the seeds of revolt before they grew, it would seem I missed a few.
If you knew this was coming, couldn't you have stopped it?
I've traveled so far down the wicked path, it would be nigh impossible for me to find my way back into the light. Which means all I could do is continue on and see what awaited me at the end. I could never play the benevolent ruler, though. Those people are inscrutable to me. They all appear to be either ravenous beasts or feeble-minded swine. Were I able to have any love for my own people, perhaps things could have turned out differently.
I can't stay in here and wait, Francois. I want to be with...
You will do as I say, girl!
Ugh.
What's gotten into you, Ceren? Death is supposed to be meaningless to you. You do not experience sorrow over loss.
But I...
Should I not come back? Go on, smiling. Do not think I will simply let them walk in and kill me. I have dozens of skilled guards, and I can handle a sword myself as well. Far better than any mere peasant. They're getting closer. Now remember, you are not to leave this room. Understood? You are my property, and property does not defy the will of its master.
And what if I do come out?
Ceren, you will not be of any help to me out there. And should you obstruct me in any way, I will not hesitate to kill you. You do not have a choice. Is that clear?
Francois.
What? Time is running short.
I love you.
With a bit more meaning.
I love you.
Good.
I will always place myself, the Lord Jean-Francois Barnier, above anything else in the world. And you, second.
Wait. Second? That's kind of super crazy wow, isn't it?
Bit more depressed about that.
Jesus. Characters. That's kind of super crazy wow, isn't it? Whoa. I'm shaking a bit here. I've never felt this way before. Is this what being scared feels like? Huh. This is a lot worse than I imagined. It hurts real bad. Like someone's sitting on my chest. I can hardly even breathe right. But it's kinda really wonderful. No, I can't do this. I can't be away from him.
Frank, you remember?
Is a great shame what happened to Ginevra.
The post-revolution merrymaking continued into the wee hours of the morning. After things settled down and the men returned to the city, an elderly man, calling himself Odilon, showed himself before me. Despite his evident age, the man stood tall and spoke in a clear, confident voice. Looking into his deep, sapphire eyes, I felt as though I could see everything he had borne witness to in these walls engraved within them. Odilon revealed himself as an ally of the revolution and as having been in contact with Ginevra.
Had things proceeded as initially planned, she was to take power and build the land anew with my assistance, but great change is never without its cost. Nevertheless, I am unspeakably grateful for how swiftly you managed to dethrone the former lord. Without your heroic efforts, we would still...
Enough with the ass-kissing. Tell me who you are, and exactly what you're hoping to get out of me.
No need to be so apprehensive, I assure you. I am more than happy to tell you everything you wish to know. I served as consul to the late Lord Jean-Francois Barnier. And 'twas I who aided the revolution from within the manor's walls, coordinating with Ginevra on the outside.
So that'd make you the one who ordered the the gates opened for us, then.
Verily. Furthermore, I arranged to have a number of the guards turn coat.
Well, you did fine work. We would have lost a lot more men without your efforts. I do have to ask, though, where were you while it was actually happening? I don't recall seeing you anywhere.
I took the liberty of finding myself shelter.
How fortunate for you to be able to kick back and watch, only to crawl out of your hole after we relieved the Lord of his head.
Might you perchance be suggesting this old bag of bones take up the blade? I would only serve as an impediment to your success. 30 years ago, mayhap, but hardly could I point a sword straight today. Or perhaps you would say that I, as a supporter of your cause, should have been present for the occasion regardless. But of little aid I would have been, merely dying a fool's death, becoming naught but another body upon which the living would tread.
You're skilled with your words, old man.
Of course, 'tis my job. There is but one service I can provide you, my knowledge.
Knowledge. Meaning you intend to continue to serve as the Lord's consul?
For what other reason would I lend my hand to this revolution?
You expect me to just take your word, to trust you?
Surely, you're aware that you cannot rightfully govern this territory without the acknowledgement of the neighboring counts and the king. I have knowledge and connections which would provide invaluable in establishing you as legitimate and qualified to inherit the throne.
Yes, I know. I did not saunter into here blind. I still hadn't figured out how I would accomplish that, but... Wait. I recognize you from somewhere. I remember. You were here during the revolt 3 years ago. You're the one who helped Barnier escape.
was indeed I.
That's all the more reason not to trust you. You sat back and watched, not a damn peep, as that clown of a lord left his people to rot. Like hell I'm letting you be my consul.
You are an astute young man, but still far too green for your own good. And you fail to fully separate yourself from your old life.
Excuse me.
I assure you, I was no more fond of Lord Barnier's predilections than you. But as I am sure you are aware, he was quick to send his opponents off to the gallows. And he would be no more merciful to his consul than a slum dweller. My objections would have ensured but one thing, a swift, meaningless death. Moreover, you knew it was not yet the time and stayed your hand, nay? I too had reached the same conclusion and was awaiting the appropriate time. The perfect time to rearrange the board. You must dispense of the childish emotion that controls you. Act exclusively in service of that which most benefits you. And you cannot do so without someone to guide you. You are still merely a fledgling young man. You know not up from down in this vast new world. And you have neither an army nor the weapons with which to defend yourself. Should you go out into that world unaccompanied, it will snap your neck before you feel the hands upon your skin.
And what benefits are you hoping to reap from this? You're not acting out of love for the people. That much is obvious.
A chance to fulfill my duties as consul to the Lord. My expertise went largely unused under Lord Barnier's rule. It was a deeply frustrating time for me. Though if I may be blunt, perhaps I should say that I would like to die knowing I have accomplished something worthwhile with my life. I can promise you, I have no intention of mistreating the people for my own personal amusement.
You're still giving me no reason to actually trust you.
Allow my work to speak for my words. Allow me to proffer unto you my knowledge, that it might be of service to you.
I don't completely trust this man, nor do I think I ever will. He's after something. Probably wants to use me as a puppet under the guise of assisting me as my consul. He does make a good point, though. I'll need someone to show me the ropes if I want any chance of governing effectively.
Have you come to a decision?
Okay. It's a pleasure to have you, Odolan.
At your service.
That said, try anything, and you'll be out the door faster than you can blink.
Understood.
Good.
Now, if I may, I would like to offer my first instruction.
And what would that be?
You will need to make a formal proclamation of your succession. There are still many among your people who know not who you are. Thus, you must declare yourself the rightful heir, the lost son of Lord Barnier's predecessor. You must assume a new name.
Say again?
The name by which you were known before is but a veil behind which you guarded your noble identity. And the time has come now for you to reclaim your true self.
Hold on a second. I'm not...
Yes, I am aware of your lineage.
Okay. Then what name do you suppose I should take?
You shall assume his name. Jean-Francois Barnier.
Is this some kind of sick joke? You're insane if you think I'm taking on that psychopath killer's name. Why on this green earth would I ever want to call myself after the man I dethroned?
Among the nobility, names are oft passed on, from father to son, from brother to brother.
But why his name? A name associated with fear and tyranny. Are you trying to hobble me before I take my first step?
You will remove the stain his deeds have left upon the name. Lord Barnier killed his father, brothers, and all their families in attendance, as Ginevra likely told you. Why do you suppose he killed them?
Are you mocking me, old man? He killed them because he was a damned madman.
Lord Barnier was not the rightful heir.
Excuse me?
He was merely a stand-in to be disposed of and quietly replaced when came the time. However, he grew voracious for power, fixated on becoming the Lord himself. So he killed everyone who stood in his way, both the Barnier family and the attendants who knew the truth. Though he had failed to realize that the Lord had sired another son. You, the rightful inheritor of the Jean-Francois Barnier name.
So, that's our story, huh? I'm not the fake. He was.
When the truth is revealed, the people will be enraptured, and crucially, the damage to the Barnier family name will be minimized. After all, the Barniers were but victims of this charlatan's avarice. As you are to take on the Barnier family name, it is to your benefit that the reputation you inherit is as unblemished as possible. Furthermore, you have nothing to gain from keeping your present name. No longer are you the man you were in the slums. You must become a new man entirely.
Enough. I need time to think. A day. Give me just one.
I cannot. 'Tis a matter of the utmost importance. You must act swiftly, for the opportunity will pass and the tides will turn against you anon. The people are on your side for now. However, should you fail to expeditiously demonstrate that you, as their new lord, are likewise on their side, you will find yourself with more than the counts upon your doorstep. You must decide now. Sir.
All right. I'll swallow my pride. I knew there would need to be some changes before I embarked on this road. So this isn't unexpected. Just moving quicker than I was prepared for.
A wise decision. Now, before we move on to the next order of business, I must ask. Are you physically well enough to remain on your feet for a short while longer? You will need to stand before your people and make a speech. Nevertheless, it is evident that you are wounded from your battle. And 'twould reflect poorly on your accomplishments were you to collapse during your first appearance.
I'll be fine. I can hold myself up long enough to give a speech.
Oh ho ho. Youth, what a wonderful thing. You must be sure to get your rest once you have finished. I will arrange for the best doctor to come examine you.
Appreciate it.
Now then, let us be off. You need merely repeat after me.
Hey, did you hear the new Lord's speech? Barnier was a fraud this entire time.
Justin.
What? No way! But God, I should have kept working going up into the manor to see it myself.
Still got a chance. Go down to squared. Town's cry spreading the word on the whole thing. Alice?
Did you hear? The new lord led the charge of the revolution. And he was the real Jean-Francois Barnier.
Cristina.
I heard. I was there for his speech. He's so young.
And easy on the eyes to boot. They say he spent years living in the slums, hiding his true identity. That must have been so difficult for him.
Anyone?
At
Long
last.
From my suffering.
Yay!
Free from the
Free from the tower, Barnier!
Barnier!
Cheers! Cheers for the new lord!
For the new lord! Oh, give me a break. You're no damn lord.
How's it going, Maria? You look like you ain't sleep well in weeks. Where's your smile, girl? Today's the day to be celebrating.
Oh, go fuck yourself.
Whoa.
You're the one who pushed him into this.
Oh, what are you getting pissy about?
See? You pressured him into this dumbass revolution, into becoming the fucking lord.
Whoa, that ain't what happened at all. Jacopo was the one who proposed the whole damn thing.
Bullshit. He was trying to talk sense into you at the Midsummer Festival.
For the love of cripes, what crawled up your ass and died? That batshit asshole's gone, and now we have someone on our side in power. What's there to be complaining about?
Oh, so dumb. Is there anything in that meathead of yours?
What was that?
I think you heard me. You do realize he can never come back now, right? He's the Lord. He's gone, and he's gone for good. Up there in that manor, all by himself. And you dragged him up to the top of that hill and left him there.
I get that you want someone to take this out on, but Jacopo also the one who proposed becoming a lord.
Oh.
I didn't push a damn thing on him. He showed up one day of a ring bearing the Barnier family crest. Then told everyone he was royalty and had a claim to the throne.
This is insane.
It was his works that sparked the revolution.
There's no way. Jacopo is royalty? You need to get a better sense of humor.
My thoughts exactly at first, too. But then I saw the crest on the ring. It's the real deal. Did you miss the whole part when he put the ring on in front of everyone before we stormed off to the manor? His whole spiel before being the heir? That was a pretty damn convincing, if I do say so myself.
You seriously think I was there for some stupid pep talk?
Ain't you his friend? I feel like a friend should be rooting for his success, you know? That's what I'm doing. I can say that much. Anyway, I got a hot date with a couple of kegs, so I'm out of here. Unless you want to come with. We're gonna be partying all night long.
Like hell I'm coming.
Just thought I ask. You're lost though. Try not to look sour all the time, okay? You're much more prettier when you're all smiling and cute and stuff.
Flattery will get you nowhere, so go choke on a dick, asshole.
Duly noted. Later.
I can't root for him because he's my friend. I know better than anyone that he's in over his head. All I can do is pray for you, Jacopo. Pray that you'll always be the Jacopo we know. That this won't change you. Still friends, right? Even if we're worlds apart now.
After giving me just enough time to recover, Odilon quickly got to work, instructing me in everything I needed to know to be a lord. My first priority was to revitalize the city, cleaning up the mess my predecessor had left it in. As much as I wanted to ensure that everyone had food and water, it simply wasn't possible to make it happen overnight. We would need to significantly expand our farmland, build additional granaries, repair existing irrigation canals, not to mention crack down on crime and disorder. There was so much to do, it was almost dizzying, but the last thing I had time to do was whine. And that said, none of it could happen with a snap of the fingers. It would take time and manpower, which meant we would have to use the existing stores in the meantime. I asked the people, particularly among the upper class, to relinquish ownership of their stockpiles for me to redistribute among the population. That would allow everyone to make it through the transitional period, I figured. Naturally, though, not everyone was happy with that arrangement. But the cries of dissatisfaction were drowned out by the cheers of support when I explained that it was for everyone's sake, that we would need to band together to carry the whole city through what would be a rocky transition. As I was patting myself on the back for a job well done, Odilon shook his head and said, "'Twill hold a year at most." We have enough stores to last at least 3 years, though. 2 if we want to be extra safe.
They will set your manor ablaze long before the stores run dry.
Excuse me? Why would they? I'm obviously doing everything in my power to revitalize the city. And I was the one who freed them from the claws of the tyrant.
The people see only the results. Though they accept your promises of improvement now, if in a year's time they do not see those words bear fruit, their trust in you will wither away. That you came from the slums is viewed now as heroic rise to power, but your past will soon be turned against you, using to legitimize you. You must produce for them tangible results.
God, I knew this wouldn't be easy, but still. It boils my blood to think that my predecessor sat around on his ass all day. Did he even accomplish anything in his entire time as the Lord?
I can think of only one truly positive effect of his regime. His support for the arts.
His what?
Surely you have seen the numerous pieces of art adorning this manor's walls. He would often treat himself with works from the finest artists and artisans in the land.
Oh, you mean all those paintings and vases and fancy drapes? Bunch of worthless junk, every last bit of it. None of it will do anything to fill the people's empty stomachs.
It would seem you understand not the value of art.
Well, I did grow up in the slums.
Do you know what purpose art serves?
To make you feel better? It's nice to have around, but not much more than that.
Bribes, my boy.
Huh?
Those who hunger for power similarly hunger for ways to flaunt it, and the singularity of a piece of art fills that role. Some have a genuine appreciation for art, others merely use it as a tool. But nonetheless, skilled craftsmen, artists, and their work naturally gravitate toward those with power. It would be wise for you to consider dressing somewhat less pedestrian soon. Now, we should be able to put the former Lord's possessions to good use in helping you build up valuable relationships.
You mean start handing out bribes?
Indeed. But remember, they are negotiation tools. You must use them where they provide you the greatest returns.
Negotiation, huh? Alright, I think I see what you're getting at. If I want to revitalize the city in a year, I'm going to need help from my good neighbors. In exchange for provisions and workers, I offer the various count's pieces from Barnier's collection. Sound about right?
Precisely. My, you are much cleverer than I would expect of a man from the slums. Now, if only you would become accustomed to this manner of thinking, you could become a fine leader in short order.
I appreciate the concern, old man.
I will dispatch messengers and arrange meetings with the counts so we can begin anon. And I hope I do not have to remind you, but you will need to be very careful with your words, Lord Barnier.
Yeah, I know.
You seem quite tired, Lord Barnier.
You think? Every day I have to go meet with someone new, and I spend all my travel time learning how to read and write. It's enough to exhaust anyone.
Is necessary nonetheless. Illiteracy will only...
Yes, I know. You said I looked tired, and I'm telling you why that is. I never said that I had a problem with it.
I overstepped. My apologies. Your diligence has been invaluable in earning the Count's favor, Lord Barnier. They think quite fondly of you.
Is that so? 'Cause that's certainly not the impression I'm getting. They put on a facade of friendliness, but beneath the surface, they're all laughing, trying to figure out how to best use me, or just outright scoffing. Not a one of them sincerely trusts me. I'm just a pawn to them.
We are all pieces on one another's boards.
What's that supposed to mean?
It would be most prudent to consider that unqualified friendship simply does not exist in high society. All interpersonal relationships are built upon a foundation of mutual benefit, save for the exceedingly rare, short-lived exceptions. Nonetheless, you should not consider being used as a bad thing. We all climb atop each other's boards, offering ourselves up as a powerful piece. And so do they offer themselves to us. Should you wish to survive in high society, you must always ensure your peers see you as a piece worth playing.
That would mean you're putting yourself out there as well, old man.
Indeed, I am your pawn, Lord Barnier. I offer myself to you, and in your using me, I gain this position as consul to the Lord. 'Tis a far more practical and reliable system than one founded on something so uncertain as emotion, would you not say?
Which is to say, I'm a pawn to him as much as he is to me. I suppose so. Then I too will have to ensure I remain useful, lest I be swept aside and another Barnier brought in to take my place.
Oh ho ho, sharp words, my lord. But worry not, for I have no qualms with your performance at present. Now, Lord Barnier, we must discuss your next...
Hold on a sec, would you?
Yes, sir.
Do you mind not calling me Lord Barnier in private? I can understand why you'd want to keep up the charade even when no one's looking. But frankly, I'm just not comfortable with it.
Very well. Then, my lord, it shall be.
Can't say I'm surprised you won't use my real name. But still. Yeah, that'll do. Thank you.
Not at all. Now, back to business, my lord.
It took long enough, but we're finally starting to see some real progress. Who knew negotiation was so much work?
You should be proud of your accomplishments, my lord. 'Tis hardly an easy feat to amass that much manpower and resources in only 6 months.
Doing better than expected, huh? How's public opinion looking? Reports should be coming in by now, I assume.
Some dissatisfaction, but numbers are within expectations.
Dissatisfied? With what? I've spent every waking moment these past 6 months working my ass off to revitalize the city, and people aren't happy with that? They should be jumping with joy.
My lord, you must understand that it is impossible to satisfy everyone. A degree of discontent is to be expected.
Even so, it should be blindingly obvious by now how much better I'm doing than the previous basket of rainbows and kittens.
All is forgotten on the gentle ebb and flow of time. Past injustices matter little in the face of the present.
It hasn't even been a year.
The people do not genuinely care about you, nor will they ever. They may sing your praises one day and forget about you the next. I believe we have been through this before.
Surely there's someone out there who gets it.
That is wishful thinking, my lord. You could work yourself to your very bones, and the people would merely see you as fulfilling your duty. You must not seek their approval. More will be expected of you, and more will you be the subject of undeserved resentment for the simple reason that you exist in a position of power. Only those in a similar position can understand your hardships. Ultimately, then you have 2 choices. Either dedicate yourself in the service of your people, or mercilessly exploit them like your predecessor.
I won't follow in that bastard's footsteps.
I pray your heart remains true, that you remain a wise and caring lord.
Damn it. So what specifically aren't people happy about?
The foremost is food shortages. This was anticipated, and all we can do is ask them to persevere. The second comes from the upper class.
Go on.
They are, quite naturally, displeased about being made to surrender their stockpiles. It would be prudent to offer them remuneration in the future.
They're doing well enough for themselves already.
My lord,
I know, just letting off some steam. So I get to go butter up all the rich men in town. Wonderful. The whole idea was to help the less well-off, yet here I am.
I understand that you are not pleased about this, my lord, but do remember, you have more to fear from a few of the upper class banding together than the entirety of the slums. For they wield a most troublesome weapon, an upper-class upbringing. They know precisely who to tell and what to tell about you to tarnish your reputation in the blink of an eye. And do not placate yourself by thinking the common man will see through the attempts to undermine you. Even if they did, an unlikely supposition, they could do nothing to counter it. They are powerless.
But it was the people at the bottom who pulled the most of the weight organizing and executing the revolution.
It was an exceptional set of circumstances that allowed the revolution to take place as it did, not the least of which was the Lord's status as an unequivocally evil in the eyes of the people. You will not find them all agreeing on anything so readily now.
All right, I get it. The point is, I gotta win over all the rich people or my whole operation's going to come to a grinding halt, right? So as much as it rubs me the wrong way, I'll do what I have to do.
A wise decision, my lord.
Is that the last of the complaints?
No. The influx of immigrants has caused an increase in general unrest.
Of course it has. I bring them in to help with the restoration effort, and they go and cause their own new set of problems. It's like I'm chasing my tail here.
As long as there are people under your authority, never will you be completely free of strife.
You're telling me. So would increasing the guards' presence in the city help keep the peace?
Most of those with the training necessary are already deployed, meaning you would need to have new guards trained from the ground up. You will have to mobilize them where they are most needed.
In other words,
Tighten your grip on the slums.
so now I've got to take away their freedom.
I know you have a personal attachment to that area, my lord, but you must cast that aside. No longer are you the man you once were. The slums should have never been allowed to fall into such lawlessness in the first place. You will merely be restoring it to its proper state. If you truly wish to bring prosperity to this land, you must eventually scale down, then eliminate the slums.
But if I get rid of the slums, I'll be getting rid of their home.
My lord,
No. I understand what you're getting at, and I understand what everything you're saying is perfectly logical. Can we hold off on that for a bit? A bunch of guys down there formed this peacekeeper group to You know, keep the peace. They'd gladly help out if we could talk to them, I'm sure. We can scale up our patrols, but no stepping on their toes. Got it?
As you command, my lord.
Hard to believe it's been a whole year. It feels like I only just started yesterday, yet also I've been doing this forever.
You are looking somewhat worse for wear, my lord.
Do I? Who am I kidding? You're right. On the other hand, you don't look like you've even lost an hour of sleep this entire year. Goes to show how inexperienced I really am.
While it is true that I have been in this position for many years, I also do not bear nearly as much responsibility as you. I merely stand in the background and offer you small pieces of advice. All the while, you face the crowds directly, negotiate with the counts, make dozens of difficult decisions. If there is one thing I have learned in all my years, it is that I could never begin to imagine the weight a ruler must carry. Never mind one who was never raised to take the throne and thrust themselves into the labyrinth of politics and high society. It would be a greater surprise if the trials had not taken their toll.
That reminds me. Barnier was Lord for a full decade before we took him down, wasn't he? And as I recall, he wasn't as much of a despot early on. If just 1 year has taken this much out of me, how much longer before I'm no longer able to act like a reasonable human being? No, don't think like that, Jacopo. Actually, forget it. What matters is that we seem to be doing a good job minimizing discontent.
Indeed, you have successfully made it through the first year. The city is decidedly more presentable than it was when you took the throne. There are precious few who could replicate your accomplishments in such a short time, my lord. You would do well to take pride in your work.
Pushing to do everything so quickly has taken its toll. The people are worn thin. Slaves are dying by the droves. I still have a ways to go before there's anything I can be proud of.
Slaves are the tools of progress, my lord. Tools do not last forever and must be replaced regularly.
And you can't build a house without your bare hands. I get it.
You learn quickly.
Not even a year ago, I would have been up in arms about the number of slaves dying. But now, they're just numbers to me. Apparently, my worldview has changed quite a bit.
It is about time we started considering our next step.
Meaning?
Meaning your efforts thus far have merely been toward repairing the damage caused by your predecessor.
You make it sound like all this has just been a warm-up.
My apologies. I did not mean to discount your great efforts, my lord. I was simply speaking of the grander scheme.
Yeah, I got that. You want to settle on a direction for how to grow the city, right?
Indeed. The status quo is vastly inadequate for bringing prosperity to this land. And there is no saying when the surrounding territories may cease being so friendly and set their eyes upon conquering us. But of course, you cannot keep your eyes trained outward in fear of attack and allow the land to devour itself from the inside either.
So what you're saying is, it's a balancing act.
Precisely.
So, what kind of advancements do I want to pursue? There is something that's been on my mind. This land is ill-suited to growing crops. When I lived down in the slums, I had no perspective and figured that what we produced here was no different than anywhere else. But now I know better. The grapes used for our wine are miserable compared to what I've been served elsewhere, as is nearly everything else we grow. I can only assume the land itself is to blame.
Oh, the wine from the south is indeed exceptional. You quite nearly gave me a heart attack when you leapt from your chair in the middle of a meeting, shouting, "This is nothing like the wine from home."
Enough! That never happened. It was my first time tasting anything like it at all right? Anyone would have done the same reaction.
You have grown much, but nevertheless, you are still quite green.
God, I really need to watch myself around this man.
In any case, it would be ideal if we could begin producing high-quality grapes. Not necessarily to compete with the South, but enough to be serviceable. Efforts to improve our farmland are underway, although it could take some time before we see the progress. Have you any propositions, my lord?
Actually, I was thinking it might be best to cut back on agriculture.
Do elaborate.
What if we were to build up the city into a trade hub of sorts?
Meaning, you wish to open our gates to our neighbors.
Exactly. One thing the city has going for it is its wealth of artisans. But for years, we've only ever exported our goods. I want to bring people here to purchase. We reduce taxes for merchants and give them special privileges. Set tariffs and border taxes lower than they are in the capital. And business will naturally find its way here. This land may be less than optimal for farming, but it's more than adequate for trade. We're in a convenient location to serve as a hub for the surrounding realms. Rather than close our borders and wall ourselves off entirely, opening up and making ourselves of value to our neighbors is far more likely to dissuade potential invasion. We're all pieces on one another's boards. Isn't that right? Who says that can't apply to the entire city? The best way to expand without stepping on anyone's toes is to do so in a way that benefits them as well as us. What do you think?
A rather aggressive strategy you propose, my lord. If I may be so bold, there will be many obstacles to this plan's success. You will need to arrange meetings with the head of each realm you intend to invite, the order and timing of which will be crucial to its success. Furthermore, the influx of outsiders will be a source of much tension among your people.
So you think I'm aiming too high?
You are indeed aiming exceedingly high. Your obstacles will be numerous and precipitous. Nonetheless, obstacles can be overcome. Your exhaustion is nothing compared to the weariness that awaits you down this path. Do be well aware of this, my lord.
You're damn right I am. If I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna go all in. Is this still me?
Yeah, keep going.
The Lord's manor sat atop a tall hill. Gazing out, the city stretched before me. Countless columns of smoke rising up from the buildings, the people scurrying about like so many ants. From up here, I had the perfect view of the bustle of the city. But I was too far away to feel the life breathing through it. To think, I used to be one of those tiny little specks. Thousands of people lived there. They had families, jobs, friends, hobbies. But as much as I was cognizant of the fact, I no longer grasped it on any more than on a conceptual level. It was incredible just how much of my view of the world had changed in merely a year's time. I'm going to go out into the world, I said. I thought that clawing my way to the top of the ladder would let me see it. Would let me experience it. With that with power, I would have the whole world at my fingertips. But reality wasn't so simple. This sure isn't what I was looking for. Hell, I feel like the chains just gotten tighter around my neck. There's no way to truly grasp the view from this height without climbing up and seeing it for yourself. And that was exactly where I was a year ago, blind to the reality of life in the upper echelons, fantasizing about a world that didn't exist. Unlike the me of the past, I did have the satisfaction of feeling like I was accomplishing big things. But was that really worth cutting myself off from all my friends? Did those achievements really justify a bloody revolution? Or, I suppose I should ask, was this work valuable enough to me to justify it at all? Reminiscing about days long gone wasn't going to help anything, and, in fact, it only served to cause me pain. I couldn't return to that time. This was where my quest for power had brought me, and now I had to live out my days as lord of this land. Telling myself, day after day, that it was far better than being a powerless slum rat. God, I've been so busy these past few weeks. My eyes are... One day, I'll show you the world.
Do you ever get tired of saying that?
You've got to think big. Dream. The world's changing all around us. A life just Fighting to make it by day to day is hardly life at all. I don't want to spend the rest of my days confined to this tiny little corner of the world.
Well, try not to let your dreams grow so big they crush you.
I'm sure I'll be fine. I'll just have you sing for me if it ever gets to be overwhelming.
Why would I be there?
Why wouldn't you? It's hard to show people the world if I don't bring you along with me. Knowing you still won't know where you want to go. So I'll bring you with me. We can find a place for you together. Pretty good deal, huh?
I don't need to see the world. All I want is...
Dozed off for a second there. It feels like those days were an eternity ago. I don't need to see the world. All I want is... All you want is what, Morgana? What were you trying to tell me?
Man, it feels like a whole different place here now. Frank.
You think? Looks like the same old nasty dump it's always been.
Cristina.
He's talking about the whole city, you adult.
Exactly. Things are on the up in the city proper. But you seen a scrap of it down here. The heck's up with that? All new shops spilling out past the city border. The highway into town turned to a full-blown bazaar.
Ooh, sounds nice.
Is there anything in that damned head of yours? We're saying, how come we're still living like rats if they got enough spare coin to build all that market space? Hell, with all these damn immigrants coming in, the slums were even bigger shithole than before.
You know, I never thought of it much till now. But you're right. The gang's been a lot busier lately with all the drifters.
And Jacopo, Lord Barnier, ain't showed his mug down here even once since he took over. I mean, get that the bloody Lord can spend our day hanging out in the slums, but he could at least visit. Instead he's spending all his time buddying up with the rich folks.
And we used to be such good friends too.
Wonder if he's planning to just not bother with us at all.
Hope not. Not sure what it's looking like. I think he's at least stores their bone rather than letting the merchants and upper class take coins back in his coffers. This one became one of them. Became just like him too.
Feels like we're in the exact same place we were a year ago. He's no different than the old Barnier.
Ma, maybe?
God, oh, it's you. So, you find anything?
Oh, okay, Duck.
Yep, got the proof you were looking for. But if you'd be so kind as to near give me a job like this again. I'd be hung thrice over if the nobles found out I was sniffing around in their business.
Oh, quit being such a bitch. You didn't steal nothing or kill anyone. You're fine.
A man's secrets can sometimes be worth more than his life. But, on to business. Your suspicions were correct.
Well, fuck me sideways. Here's your pay. Take it and piss off.
Aye. Nice doing business. Hey, hold up now. I risked my neck to give that for you, and this is all I get in return?
You got a problem with that, you little bitch?
No, sir. No.
Don't you worry. You'll get your fair due shortly.
These construction costs are really starting to pile up. Can't we put the manor repairs off until we've taken care of more pressing matters? Like using that money to help the poor.
The Lord and his residents are the face of his land. If you wish for this city to continue thriving upon the fruits of your relationships with the surrounding realms, you must maintain a minimum level of respectability, my lord. Merchants in particular are merciless judges of appearance. Of this, you can be certain. No respectable merchant will do business on equal terms with a city whose lord refuses to take care of his own home.
I get that, but still, it's so much money.
These are necessary expenses. To acquire the resources required to aid the lower class, we must increase the rate of production. Efforts must begin at the top and gradually work down. You must not be in such a great rush, my lord. The work you are performing is on a much larger, longer scale than perhaps that of which you are accustomed.
You have a point. Then let the construction continue. I'm definitely coming to see just how crucial a bit of embellishment can be to surviving in high society. Every engagement is like throwing myself into a lion's den, everyone surrounding me, measuring me up. They question my pedigree, some with their eyes, some with their mouths. Some even attempt to dig up dirt on me in order to tilt the scales in their favor. Oh yeah, and there was that one time when I was straight up shouted at, right to my face. You're no more a damn noble than any of those other rats whose nest you crawled out of, if I recall. Not that he was wrong. I took the throne by force. It's only natural that people are going to have their suspicions. That I came from the slums is just an icing on the cake. I'm damn lucky if condescension is the worst treatment I get on a first encounter. And then, There are the distant relatives Barnier let slip through the cracks, slithering back up to assert their right to the land. There are a lot more people out there to get me than I first anticipated.
You remain strong, my lord.
I will always be strong. If I so much as let those wolves smell weakness, they'll pounce all over me. Like hell I'm going to let that happen. I won't have time to work on helping the poor if I have to spend my days fending off packs of bloodthirsty nobles. I must always appear strong under any circumstance. I, of all people, should know just how easily a lord can be dethroned. And I'll be next if I leave even the slightest opening. I have to do whatever it takes to make sure that's not my future.
Perhaps you should get some rest, my lord.
Excuse me? Are you insane? I have to review the construction budget so that...
Allow me to handle that. I will get you something to drink. Perhaps a glass of that southern wine you are so fond of. It is quite sweet, perfect for alleviating built-up fatigue.
I am not fatigued.
Come now, please take this request from an overly concerned consul, my lord.
Fine. You win. It's hard to believe it's only been a year and a half. I feel like we go way back.
Oh, we do see each other every day, after all.
I'm starting to crave some variety, to be honest. I never found a good opportunity to ask you this, but...
Yes.
Do you have any family? Because if you do, you're more than welcome to have them live here.
I appreciate your concern, my lord. But they have all passed away.
All of them?
Indeed. My entire family was eradicated at the previous lord's order. Once, and only once, I offered him my humble opinion. So infuriated was he by my insolence that he had my family murdered. I would have much preferred myself killed in their stead. But he was a man who reveled in others' suffering.
And you just kept on serving him?
That is correct. I acted as his loyal servant, too afraid to speak up again.
Acted?
Recall what I said when we first met. I was sitting in wait for the perfect opportunity. Now you understand why.
Well, damn.
And if I may come clean about that time, I had every intention of disposing of the revolution's puppet master. Never once did I trust Ginevra. Her foolish motives were plain as day. As the new lord's mother, she planned to control her planted usurper from the shadows, acting as the effective governor of the land. Having no family left myself, the city and its people are like my children. So I refuse to stand by and allow her to turn them into tools to satisfy her own avarice. The land would hardly survive a tyrant sweeping in to replace a tyrant. But she was removed from the board by the former lord before she had a chance to see her aspirations to fruition. Knowing she was no longer a danger, I decided I would wait and see how the successor fared before taking any further action. To determine if you were sufficient to serve as lord of this land.
And I guess I passed, huh?
Are you not upset, my lord?
Nothing to be upset about. You never hide the fact that you acted in your own interests. That if a piece had no value to you, you discarded it. And I always knew there was more than what you were telling me. I'll just say, I'm relieved to still be standing here.
If only you knew how close you were to falling on the other side of that line.
Am I really that on edge? After all the work I've put into this.
While you do have a rare aptitude and strength of spirit, you are still much too easily swayed by your emotions. Ergo, I shall continue to instruct you until you are able to fully satisfy my expectations. It is rather curious. So oft do we speak, so great our time together. I have come to think of you as my second son.
Don't get all mushy on me, old man. We're not friends and we're not family. I'm a pawn on your board, and you a pawn on mine. Strictly business.
Oh ho ho. My apologies. I never said a word.
Right. Never happened. Moving right along. You just keep on doing what you do best.
At your service, my lord.
Out of curiosity, do we have any free hands around capable of riding a horse?
For what purpose?
There's someone I want found.
Whoever it may be you wish to find, my lord, I am obliged to remind you that...
You don't even have to finish that. I know. I'm supposed to leave the past in the past.
Let us see, then. Your men have their hands rather full at present, though we can perhaps arrange for one of them to be reassigned.
Are you sure?
It is a suave request, and not once in your entire tenure have you requested to use your men for personal matters. I believe we can spare a hand or two on such rare occasions.
Much appreciated.
Shall I arrange for them to set off immediately?
Please. I'm looking for a girl. If she's alive, she'll look around 13 or 14. And she has unusual markings on her face.
Markings akin to burn scars.
Barnier once imprisoned her in this manner. He used her as a prop for his banquets, cutting her up from head to toe. My guess is that the patches on her face are a result of Barnier's abuse.
Indeed, I know the girl. I presume she had not survived the slave revolt. I take it you care quite deeply about this girl, my lord. Then allow me to offer my sincerest apologies in his stead.
No need to apologize. Will you help me find her, Odilon?
I will oversee the search operation personally to the best of my ability, my lord. I pray the girl is still alive.
As do I, unlikely as it may be. I'm just chasing after a sliver of a dream that shattered long ago. And that said, if you do find her alive, bring her here without telling her it's at the Lord's order. She'll likely assume it's the old Barnier who's after her if you say anything. And if she happens to have found a new home where she's happy, just leave her be.
Understood.
Time drifted slowly onward. As I'd anticipated, there was no news regarding her whereabouts. But new shops and stalls continued opening in the city, and with them a steady flow of travelers and passing merchants. And as traffic through the city increased, so did the number of people seeking an audience with me. I was getting busier by the day. My plans to attract merchants and artisans from the capital had worked, and every one of them seemed to have a bigger, more ambitious proposition than the last. My days became a cycle of meetings, reviewing propositions, balancing the budget, and deciding whether to proceed or postpone. And amidst all the tumult, my thoughts drifted even further from the poorest of my people. And that's the last day of the day's meetings. There's no end to this.
That is a good thing, my lord. It means you have succeeded in drawing traffic to the city.
I guess, but still. I need to go back and review all these proposals, so...
Lord Barnier, a moment.
I don't have a moment to spare.
A townsperson requests an audience with the Lord.
You have been instructed to deny entry to commoners.
I tried, but he refuses to leave the gate.
Hold on. What's this man's name?
Sir, he calls himself Gratien.
Oh shit, is it really him? Let him in by all means.
My lord, you mustn't give anyone special treatment.
Gratien's not just anyone. We've been to hell and back together. He wouldn't be here if it wasn't important. I should hear what he has to say.
No, my lord, you cannot. Your past is...
He's a good friend. I'm not sending him away. That's not even on the table.
Friend or not, you mustn't give him an audience. You are the lord now, and he a mere peasant. You cannot be certain he will hold himself with proper decorum.
I don't appreciate what you're implying about my friend, old man. He's no goddamn brute.
I imply nothing, my lord.
keep your counsel to topics you actually know something about. I'm not going to stand by and listen to anyone insult my friends, not even you.
My lord, must I remind you yet again to keep your temper in check?
Gah, that's enough out of you. I'm done. Not another word on this subject.
My lord.
Hey, guard. Open the gate.
Yes, sir.
Sup, Jacopo? It's been ages.
It feels like forever. How have you been doing?
Never been better. How about you, kid?
Show proper respect to your lord, peasant. You will refer to him as Lord Barnier, not any false names he may have responded to while in hiding.
Seriously? You ain't gonna let him get a kickback, even for a buddy?
Enough, Odolo. You can call me by that old name.
But my lord,
I said I've heard enough from you.
Well, look at you, taking charge and barking orders at all important like. You're like a whole new man, my lord.
Please, you can use my name.
I'm dead serious, though. Hard to believe it. Hey, been 2 years. He says you look like a whole new man.
You think so? I don't feel like I've changed all that much myself.
I don't know, you're just, what's the word? Emanate lordliness, you know? Guess it don't take long in the noble's dent to turn into one of them. No matter how far down the chain you come from. And look at this room. Look at all these fancy fucking furnishings. None of this old Barnier stuff, is it?
Nope. With all the meetings I've been having, I needed to make sure I had room that was nice and presentable.
Well, that's one way to put it.
Hey, don't think I'm just throwing around money for the fun of it. If I want any pull in a negotiation, I need to look like I have.
No need to explain yourself, kid. I totally get it. It ain't easy dealing with a bunch of rich folks with sticks up their asses.
I appreciate it. Anyway, what brings you here today?
Whoa, bud. Do I need a reason to visit a friend? Can't a guy just want to hang out and catch up? I mean, come on.
I never said that. I'm just extremely busy at the moment. I don't have much time to spare for anyone.
Come on. Don't be such a tight ass. That's exactly why I'm here. To make sure you don't got that stick up there so deep it punctures your brain. Gotta let loose sometimes.
I suppose. Thank you for your concern.
So let's get sloshed. Just like the old days. I even brought the booze right here.
Oh, I wish I could, but I don't have the time.
You'll drink with the merchants and rich snobs, but not me. That stings, kid. Right in the gut.
I see you're as pushy as ever. All right, fine. One drink in the back room.
Now that's what I'm talking about.
My lord.
It will be fine, Odelon. We go back years. There's nothing wrong with a couple of friends sharing drinks after hours.
If you insist, my lord, but the peasant must leave his blade behind. I will not, under any circumstances, allow you to be alone with an armed slum dweller.
Yeesh. Oh, jeez. Everyone here needs to loosen up a bit, huh? You seriously think I'm gonna pull a sword up against my old pal?
Humor me.
Whatever, fine. You win, old timer. Happy now?
Yes.
Sorry about that, Gratien. Odelon's always on edge. It's nothing personal.
It's cool. Can't blame him. Now, let's get thrashed. Brought a little something from the pub we used to haunt. Bet you usually drink way better shit than this now. Now that you're freaking the Lord. But it'll be like old times, you know?
Oh, this reminds me of the time we had that drinking contest.
Want to go for another round?
I'll have to refrain. Odelon would murder me if I did that.
Sounds like the geezers got you by the balls, huh? No fun allowed up here in the Lord's house?
It can be rather suffocating, yeah.
Well, you can let loose today. To old times, kid.
To old times. Now, this is a sight I never dreamed of. The two of us here in the Lord's Manor drinking together. We were both slaves when we met, for God's sake.
No fucking joke. You never know what life will bring you. Been almost 5 years since then. You weren't even 20 yet.
I expect we've both grown quite a bit since those days. Or are you still running around like a wild boar even now?
Hard to say. I don't think I'm as bad as I used to be, but getting into shit kinda comes with the territory, you know? And the slums are still the same as ever.
I see. So how's everyone doing down there?
We're all scraping by, as usual.
The rest of the gang? And Maria?
The guy's still lazing around the pub all day, and Maria's built the brothel, and she's getting by as best as she can. Obviously, not in the same place, and it's smaller in the old place. But for a chick, she's holding all right for herself.
I'm glad to hear it.
So, tell me, kid. You and her totally had a thing, yeah?
Where on earth did that come from? I believe I've already told you. No, we didn't.
Just seems like she's about 10 times more worried about you than anyone else. There must have been some. Don't make sense otherwise. Maybe she just had a thing for you, and you just never seen it. Boy, girl.
There were no romantic feelings on either side. We were friends. Simple as that. Nothing more, nothing less.
You're speaking crazy to me, Jacopo. Have you seen those honkers?
What does that have to do with anything?
It just don't make any damn sense to me. How can a guy only be friends with a chick?
Just means we value certain things in life differently.
Bullshit. You know, you like to do that sometimes. Get all weirdly noble like that. Hey, I didn't mean that as a jab.
It has nothing to do with being noble. Maria's special. We've known each other most of our lives, and we survived hell together.
Oh yeah, you mentioned that before, didn't you? That you two known each other longer than anyone else? What was it like back then, for the two of you?
Before I met her, Maria was raised in an orphanage. She said she ran off because she and the director didn't get along.
Can't say I'm surprised. How about you?
I hardly remember anything from before I came to this city. Just bits and pieces of what my mother told me. Being guarded by a bunch of men, being kidnapped by bandits.
You mean that noble woman? Real shame you had to lose her so soon after reuniting, huh?
Indeed it is.
Don't you think it's about time you cut the shit?
Excuse me?
You're not a Barnier. You didn't inherit the throne. You're just a damn fraud. Ain't that right, Jacopo?
What are you talking?
Finally starting to kick in, looks like. God, you got any idea how hard it was not to throttle you through that whole entire conversation?
What? Almost out of nowhere, my heart rate skyrocketed, and my legs started trembling so violently I had to lean against the wall to support myself. The whole world started swirling, and I could just barely make out my old friend glaring at me through the fog.
How you like it? Feels like your heart's about to burst, don't it? Don't you worry, kid. You won't be feeling anything soon.
You poisoned the drinks? Why would you?
Why? You seriously need me to spell it out for you. You've been stuffing your head with some fucking rainbows up here? You wanna know why they call you down? You wanna know what they call you down in the slums? Jacopo, the betrayer.
I did not betray.
You take one goddamn look at the city and tell me that again. While you're up here treating anyone with a cart and some trinkets to shout like they're fucking royalty. The slum is still the same as the rat's nest you left it. No, we're even worse now. With your new marketplace, anyone can turn a little money and big old pile of gold. But if you got nothing to begin with, you're just dead in the streets. All you're doing is making the rich even richer.
No. I'm trying. I wanted to explain how I had everything planned out. How I first needed to improve the economy as a whole before I could turn my attention to the less well-off. That nothing changing was proof I was protecting them. That the slums had been in danger of being eradicated entirely, and I had stopped it. But I could see in his eyes that nothing I said would convince him. As far as he was concerned, I was pure evil.
You're not the man you used to be. You're not the man you used to be.
Gratien. Why? I thought you believed in me.
You're damn right I did. Then you went and fed us a whole bunch of lies. You called yourself the rightful heir. You called yourself a Barnier. But I dig my digging. Don't got a lick of a royal blood in you. All you ever wanted was to line your pockets, you selfish bastard.
No,
You never had any intentions of helping us.
Please. Hear me out, Gratien.
We're all just pawns to you. The whole damn revolution was part of your game.
I'm begging you.
How's it feel? Knowing your throne sits on the back of all those people you betrayed.
Please.
You don't have any right to call yourself a damn lord.
Gratien!
Hell. You barely have any right to call yourself a fucking man. You're just like a rat in fancy clothes. It should have been me. I would have made an infinitely better lord than you ever were! If only I had that ring, maybe things would have been different.
So that's what this is all about. In a flash, everything I once felt for this man, all the friendship, the camaraderie, the sympathy, went cold. As much as he tried to dress up this whole farce, that was where his heart truly was. He was just sour about not being the one who got to be Lord. He believed himself superior. He got himself caught up in this stupid fit of jealousy, and now he's trying to kill me over it? That's seriously all this is? Are you listening to a word you're saying?
What was that?
You're the one who's not the man he used to be. And you're the one who's being a self-centered bastard.
Talk all you want, dead man.
The Gratien I knew would never resort to using poison. He'd have drawn his sword the second he passed through those gates, faced me like a man. But look at you. Even Barnier had more of a spine than you!
You dare compare me to that sack of shit? Alright, fine. I'll put it your way.
He had a knife hidden on him. An instant later, Gratien was brandishing a sword blade. He had snuck it under his clothes, I presumed. I was almost amazed at how thoroughly prepared he was. He'd never had any intention of going any other way. He hadn't come to talk. He was never going to hear me out. He was there to do one thing, and one thing only. And I doubted he had any plans for what would come next. Raw hatred was all that fueled him. He wouldn't take my place after killing me. He wouldn't work himself to the He wouldn't work himself to the bone to ensure the city kept running. He didn't give a single damn about any of that. You're scum! I won't be taken down by some worthless, self-absorbed rat! Nothing I had ever tried had been enough to best Gratien in combat. And that was when I was at my peak, not with the myriad needles of this poison prickling my every pore, barely able to stand under my own weight. But still, I had no intention of surrendering my life to this cur. I took in a deep breath, clenched my teeth, shouted at my shaking limbs. Move! 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 Move, damn you! My fingers, I could feel them again. Before the thought finished passing through my mind, my hand reached for a blade. Grasping the rapier hanging from the wall, I swiftly drew it from its scabbard. It was a decorative blade not meant for combat. It would probably bounce right off Gratien's muscular chest. But there was one place I could target.
Right in hell, you son of a bitch!
Knife in hand, he lunged at me. Just moments before the death befell me. My vision, blurred by the poison, grew unbelievably clear. Gratien almost appeared to be moving in slow motion. I wasn't sure my mind had ever been so clear, so sharp in battle before. The dying embers of my fading life burned anew into a blazing inferno. Unlike my fight with Barnier, this one was over in an instant. Before I had time to breathe or even blink, it was settled. And in that same instant, everything I had built up with this man turned to dust. I never once defeated him. For as long as I'd known him, I was always Always, always number 2. And now, for the very first time, I won.
What did it have to be you? There. And not me.
The blade of the rapier in my hand skewered Gratien's throat. His mouth flapped open and shut like a fish. He glared at me, face twisted in a mixture of hatred and agony, sputtering fragments of his contempt, until the life drained from his eyes. My first victory against my old friend also took his life. And it all happened in the blink of an eye. Hardly enough time to something.
My lord, what was all the commotion?